Big up, people, and welcome to another live show on Trusted Perspective. I hope you're all doing well. Sorry, my light is a bit dark, but I'll fix that in a bit. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show this morning. The match prediction show where we try to correctly predict Mauricio Pochettino's lineup selection for the upcoming game. We'll also preview the game, look at head to head, and all the we'll talk about players to look out for and all that. But more importantly, I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. I hope you all are doing well. Without wasting much of your time, we'll get into it immediately. We'll also keep an eye. We're also going to keep an eye on the Tottenham versus a Crystal Palace game and keep you updated if need be. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, as usual, I'm going to take my time to say hello to the people in the chat already. Oscar here. Chelsea will beat a Brentford 4-0, and that's by a Sapana. Good to hear. I don't trust this team that much to predict the outcome of a game. I know we do well. Do I think we'll win that game? Maybe, but we'll find out. I need to learn more about this team to be able to correctly predict the exact outcome of games. Oscar is in the house. Hi, everyone. Oscar, I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. I am going there. I hope you enjoy it. The game starts in about 26 minutes. Let's see how quickly we can get done with what we have here. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. And if you're following us on Facebook or on Twitter, we hope you're enjoying the show. Nothing has happened that much, but hopefully you're following and enjoying it. If you're listening, if you don't mind, please do join us on YouTube. You don't have to stay here with us. You just join us on YouTube. Drop a like on the video for us, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we do a giveaway monthly for students. We do a giveaway. You get to win at least a $50. You just have to be a student to participate. But that's right away. We move on. We have to get into it straight away without wasting much of your time. Let's get into it. I know a lot of people, mind will be on the Tottenham game, but I'll keep an eye on it in case anybody decides to stay and follow the show. I can always keep you updated. You can also watch the game and at the same time participate in the show. But just by the way, let's see. Oscar, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let's get started immediately. Usually the first thing I do will be to participate in the poll, which always asks the question, who will win? 72% of the participants think Chelsea will win, and 16% thinks it will end in a draw, while 13% thinks Brentford will beat Chelsea, and Chelsea are actually at home. And that's a total of 22,814 votes. Not a bad, you can say not a bad, what's it called? Not a bad sample size. That's a good enough sample size. But let's see what happens. It doesn't really reflect who will, you can say, who will carry the day. Who will win the game? Let's just use a simpler language. But we'll see what happens on the day. It's just people. I think the vote usually is reflective of people's, you can say, maybe not opinion. People, so you can say, current perception of the two teams that will face off on the day, in my opinion. But that's by the way, we'll move on quickly. And as soon as we're done, we're not going to waste time. I'll just, you can say, I'll try my best to get it done as soon as possible so that it is short. And whoever gets to find the video anytime, you can say, before the game you will not hesitate to start watching it because it's not a long video. But that's by the way, we move on from that. Good evening or afternoon, everyone. It's still morning for me. And Toby, that's nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining. And Oscar says the game is at 12:30 your time, but 4:30 a.m. my time. Let's look at the injured and suspended players. Malang Sa, forget about him. Wesley Fofana, we already know about that. Probably, I don't see him participate. I think he could miss the entirety of the 23-24 season. Trevor Chalobah, unknown return date. I'm not sure what's going on with Trevor Chalobah. It's starting to look as if indeed he's been exiled from the team. For lack of a better language, maybe. I'm not too sure. Romeo Lavia early December, not even November anymore. So truly, he did suffer a setback. At the time when the news emerged that Romeo Lavia suffered a setback while he was arguing, I think he didn't argue, but he made a post on social media. You could say refuting the reports that he suffered a setback. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah, refuting the reports that he suffered a setback, and but deleted the tweet immediately, which at the time made me to suspect, yeah, he did suffer a setback, and for the fact that he was supposed to return to food training by the end of this particular month, from then, yeah, and then now early December showed, yeah, he did suffer a setback, but that's by the way, I don't think we've missed him much. It'd be good to have him available for selection because he will make us a stronger. Marcus Bettinelli, a few days. I think the team training photos suggest that he's back to full training. Yeah, Christopher Nkunku knee injury early November, and for him to get to play, I'd say probably you can say November end and or even December, early December maybe, or the start of December. Carney Chukwemeka injured, the return date is unknown. Ben Chilwell, yeah, hamstring injury early December 2023. Amanda Broya doubtful. Yeah, he'd be out for a few days, I heard. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. More importantly, and if you're watching, if you haven't, can if for some reason, one reason or the other, you're not able to participate in the chat, just know that we appreciate you. You watching alone does go a long way. We appreciate you watching. You provide great value to the community, but we want you to do us one favor, one tiny bitty favor, and that favor is just for you to take a second and drop a like on the stream for us to help us garner more likes. The more likes we'll have on the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and get it to push the stream to more people who would be interested in the Chelsea versus Brentford Premier League match predictions. The more people will have, the better. And Nkunku, Badi, Sheila, Lavia, Rich James, Bro are all in at Chelsea. Not traveling. Connie as well. Yep. Yep. Those guys are still. Rich James will be on the bench. Well, didn't the manager say something to the effect of Rich James will be available but on the bench? I'm not too sure. But for certain, he's not starting. Lavia, we know. Yeah, Broya, we know he suffered I wouldn't call it a setback, a strain, something to similar to that. I can't quite recall what it was. Carney, what was said. Injuries are horrible for us. Unfortunately, why that is the case, I honestly do not know. Hopefully, we'll find a solution to that. It just seems as if you don't get injured, then yeah, you're not truly a Chelsea player. With a full training camp at Chelsea, with Poch, with time to prepare and build chemistry, and without having to travel, will be greater for us. Build fitness as well as plus five on their attributes. Here's the thing. I've always known that we're making progress. But one thing I've been very clear about is that I don't trust this team that much to be able to accurately predict the outcome of games. But that's just me. But that's by the way. Let's see. Other than that, we've voted. Again, I don't have to go through that again. And we've looked at the injury list we'll have. It's gotten better actually. Yeah, I don't count. You can say I don't count Ben Chilwell as a starter anymore. Maybe Connie Chukwemeka and Christopher Nkunku. I know Romeo Lavia. Those are just the three players. Yeah, left on that a particular village of injured players. Other than that, I'm not. You can say it's gotten better. Hopefully, it doesn't get worse because it just seemed as if every time. Every time it looks as if things are getting better, something happens, and then some setback, significant setback in most cases. Actually, look at Connie Chukwemeka, who joined or started a foot training with the team about last 2 weeks ago or something like that, and then suffered a setback. Badiashile did suffer a setback. Romeo Lavia suffered a setback too. So it's concerning. But that's, by the way, Roger, I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. Oscar, if you're listening, please avoid using all caps. It will get you into trouble until you become a moderator. If you keep using all caps, it will ban you. It will, you can say, time you out, unfortunately. And I haven't had the time to get it to be you can say, to be a bit more lenient than it is right now. But that's fine. I'm going to go to Roger. Roger, I appreciate you finding the time to join. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Enough.
Oh, my pleasure. How are you, sir?
I can't complain, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today. The question I have for you, Roger, it looks like the injury issues, it looks like I don't know if I should say it has subsided or maybe it's gotten better. I don't know what better language to use, but let's hear you, Roger.
Yeah, it's still really poor. It really is. I mean, I heard Brentford have 7 people on the injury list, and
Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the only person I know that well that had he been available for selection, I'd be concerned is Ivan Toney. But it looks like they've been able to cope without him.
yeah,
Yep.
I believe they're using their backup fullbacks or something. I heard a report about them. I think yesterday. They've been listen. The reason why they've fallen off quite a bit is because of the fact that they are experiencing an injury
Hmm.
um, issue, shall we say? So who's to say? Listen, we haven't exactly been blessed with health this season, and
Hmm.
quite a few seasons. So, listen, our list is still quite prolific. You must be, yeah, it's bad still. I mean, yeah, I understand, some of the players that I wouldn't exactly include on there, like Bettinelli and Malang Sarr. I don't
Hmm.
include those, but the rest are important, either as rotational players or for subs, or it's and obviously you looking at players like Nkunku, you're looking at Reece James. He's not listed there, but he's not fit enough to start. You know,
Yep. The manager did say that clearly that if anything, he'd be on the bench.
yeah, exactly. And so even the players that are not listed here, most of them aren't match fit enough to put in 70 to 90 minutes. So that's quite concerning.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Let me get more of what we have here with the food training camp. Okay, I've read that one. More people to join. Yep, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. How many likes do we have already? The more likes to Ghana, the better for the show. 18 likes, that's not bad. And we're just 16 minutes into the show. So, yep, big up Coachila, big up to you too, JC. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining. I can't complain. Big up from Ireland up to Chelsea, 3 points tomorrow, and that's what Francis Winters thinks will happen. I hope to see that happen too. Big up to you, Tivana Iswara. I hope you're doing well. Big up, coach. I saw the training video from Chelsea channel. Phil, the team are fighting for each other. Other spots. Okay, for each other for each other's places. Good feeling in my opinion. Yeah, you don't even need to add that IMO disclaimer there. It's a good feeling to have players fighting for places. Which means the best player starts. If the manager, you can say, if it's not biased, of course, I believe it's not. He's shown, made some, you can say, made some calls that showed, yeah, he picks players based on performances. Except for sometimes when he opts for experience over the better performing player, in my opinion. But I agree with you. It's a good sign. I get Roger's concern, but truly, we could have been worse off, in my opinion. Sense a good fighting spirit of vibe in the camp, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing, really. So, Tob, as you're one of those who were fortunate to become a member, given the gift from a friend of mine, yeah, and that's a higher level membership, actually, which is for $4.99. So, congratulations to you, Tob S. One day we will use a four attackers because Starling, Palmer, and Jackson have to start. And here's the secret: that upper level membership. I'm going to say this to you. Usually, a lot of people will not be in the chat. It's more like us together in a bar having a conversation about Chelsea. No structured. It's not a structured show. It will not be just like we're in a bar talking about Chelsea football, in a bar talking about Chelsea Football Club or pub, like my British friends will call. Despite injuries, we are good enough to beat Brentford. That's when I'm concerned. But let's see how well we do. In a few hours, we'll find out. If everyone is fit, I don't think anyone is guaranteed a starting place, and that's the way it should be. We were actually trying to. I think we had a conversation the other day. I can't quite recall what we talked about on that day, Roger. Where it wasn't easy for us to select a starting 11, or we were asking questions who start at certain in certain positions, and it wasn't easy. But we did agree that's a good problem to have. Yeah, so it's a good thing. Constantine Dante, big up to you, brother. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Coachila, good. I like that. Good evening, everyone in the chat. Oh, yeah, Agile Indicachi, nice to see you. Goalkeeper Sanchez, okay. Right back, okay. CB Levi, okay. And all the names you mentioned there, don't take it away from us. Chelsea are in course to win the treble in 1 year and maybe not just once. Wow. Do I think the future is bright? Yeah, I've always said the future is bright, so bright that you'd need some protective glasses to look at it to understand how bright the future, the Chelsea's future is. Yep, Dante, just some people saying hello to each other there. Think about it. Angelo is low-key world class. He's a talent. I wouldn't go to the extent of calling him world class right now. Dacho Fofana playing FA Cup games is all Jackson if we sign us in them. Left midfield Starling versus Modric is real depth with Cole Palmer and Nkunku. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 19 likes, but I strongly believe we should be doing better than that. Let me ask you this, Jerry Z. Roger thinks it hasn't, you can say, it hasn't gotten better. That it's still bad. Do you agree, or do you think it has gotten better? Hopefully, you're on my side.
Uh,
But big up,
Good
more importantly, I
afternoon,
hope
coach.
you're doing well, Jerry.
I'm doing great, coach. Happy weekend
Hello.
to everyone.
Happy
Hello,
weekend to you
Roger.
too. Yeah, it's Friday actually. I forgot because my boys didn't go to school today. I thought, well, it's weekend already.
So,
Hello,
Coachella,
Jerry.
hi, Roger. Thank you. I joined about a minute and a half ago, so I don't like I didn't hear which point that he agreed or disagreed on. Could you kindly
You just
rephrase for
want to
me?
be on his side. Look, Roger
I
is
love you,
saying,
Jerry.
let's see.
Thank you.
Let's say you, Roger. Let's speak for yourself. You think it hasn't improved? You think it's still the same?
Uh, Very small incremental improvement because the players that are not listed on this injury report are not fully match fit. In other words, A, they won't be starting, and B, they're only good for between 10, 20 minutes max. So it's a bit too premature to say that the injury bug is behind us. That's all I was pointing out, Jerry.
So, do you agree that there's no much difference in terms? I think, um, I think you said how many players do we have back now? Badiashile was injured. Who else was injured? James was injured, but I get it. Roger did mention that. Yeah, if anything, he's only fit enough to be on the bench. Maybe, yeah, maybe then there isn't too many. You can say it hasn't really improved actually.
Yeah,
But let's hear you, Jerry.
yeah, I completely agree with him. It's very clear. It's black and white. So it's nothing. Nothing much that I can talk on about it because I don't
Hmm.
see anything that improved at all, if anything. So, coach, I would like to interested. I'm curious now to know what improvement have you seen in this regard?
No, I wasn't. You can say I've come to I've come to terms that yeah, Roger, you and Roger are both correct. I don't think. Yeah, I think it's still. You can say virtually the same. Nothing has changed except for two players recovering, which is Badia Sheila and who again? Who was the other person? James only fit enough to be on the bench. Amanda Broya suffered a setback. We're here, not really a setback. Another issue, a strain they called it. So it hasn't really, unfortunately, hasn't really improved. Yeah, so you win. You two, you win.
That's all I want to hear. I want it in writing, coach.
You've won. But that's by the way, we have to move on from that one because there's nothing really. I don't know. Let's hear Bobby. I think he'd like to, he most definitely would like to say something, I believe. But Bobby, big up to you first of all. The injury list. I was thinking maybe it's not as bad as it was before. It turns out it is, and yeah, James is back. Who else? Badia Sheila is back. Broya joined the list again, although he's not. Yeah, he's there actually. Doubtful. It hasn't gotten better, but I'll take any measure of improvement, which the fact that Badia Sheila is ready and Broya, and what's his name, and James is actually at least fit enough to be on the bench. But let's hear you, Bobby. What do you make of it?
Yeah, yeah, big up, guys. Big
A
up,
big up to you
guys.
too,
I've
brother.
just
Well
sort
done,
of caught.
Roberto.
Yeah, big up, Roger. I've just sort of jumped on, and I never quite know when the streaming starts, but I'm glad it's better late than never. But look, the injuries are marginal in improvement. I think that's the word. It's marginal. It seems to be going in the right direction, apart from Brosia's relapse. There's talk of Nkunku, coming out on the grass a little bit, but that's still, um, a process. I've not heard anything about Carney. I thought he was closer than most, but it
Yeah, he,
doesn't
he did
seem to
suffer
be.
a setback too.
Okay, so, and then of course, Lavia, we know, isn't even running yet. I don't even expect to see Lavia at all till the new year. As with Ben Chilwell, who I've already written off as an injury prone guy. So we need to have, thank goodness we had three left backs and so on, because, and four, including the fact that Colwell can play there, because we need that with Ben Chilwell. He's
Mm.
not going to be around regularly. The fact of the matter is that it's high time this is recognized. You know, Arsenal, as I have emphatically been saying, they have never played the full Chelsea team for 5 years, and when they did, we thrashed them. So they've never done it. They've always been fully fit, and we have been deficient. And it's high time that is acknowledged as part of the reason we struggle so much. Same with Spurs, really. It's just that, we tend to have one or two players, key players available sometimes, but most of the time we're deficient. So the deficiencies in our team have been going on for a long time. Will we ever have a fully fit squad? Well, we pray for that, but somehow I'm not so sure. And that's why it takes me back to yesterday when people keep saying, oh, um, when everybody's fit, Gallagher's not going to get a game. Well, I beg to differ. I think he will get a game when everybody's fit. And I think this is a rotating situation. There's always going to be one person in or out or the other. That's Chelsea. And we have to build a squad with reserve to cope with that and have a
And yeah,
manager.
just quickly, Disasi is back too.
Great.
I never thought he went.
No,
Desassi
he
had
he
a
was injured. He suffered. He had I think a muscle
He
injury. I'm
had
not
like
sure.
he had
Yeah,
like
yeah. Go
a,
ahead.
a he had like a what do you call it, a gluteus tension thing, but that's a minor thing. It's good to rest it so it doesn't become a muscle tear. But yeah, okay, you can say he was injured, you can say he's back, but we're always going to sort of have this. Will we ever have a full itinerary of our players? Well, maybe one day for a while, but we will have the competition to be able to rotate them. So for now, to Brentford, do we have enough for Brentford? I
I
think
think we
so.
do. Hmm.
I think so. A lot is the application of the tactics. A lot is the fitness of the current players we have. A lot is the rest being given to Caicedo and Enzo, playing with Gallagher in midfield and with Ugochukwu coming on every now and then to shore up things should we need it. We've got to take Brentford very, very seriously, but honestly, look, with our manager now beginning to get into the team, with the team being rehearsed, surely we have to look at a positive result here. It's not insurmountable that they prevent that, but it's also not insurmountable that we have a win. That's all I have to say about it.
All right, thank you so much, Jude. I appreciate you finding the time to join us this morning. I know it's afternoon for you, because you're in New York, right? Jude, welcome back to the panel once again. Do you have anything to add to with regards to the injury talk? Jude, are you there with us? Okay, before Jude comes, I'm gonna take give those in the chat the mic. Okay,
Yes.
Jude, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon. Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
Greetings, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. I think despite the little injury set, enough quality to win the game. Yeah. I listened to the I think would only
It looks
want
like
to
Jude. It
appreciate.
looks like go ahead. Go ahead.
So, yes, that I will only appreciate.
No, go ahead. Your connection, yeah.
Yeah, if he allows Modric to just be on the pitch for 90 minutes, I need to see that guy for 90 minutes. Yeah, if he takes and I also want him to feature a striker, no first nine, unless the striker doesn't play well. So maybe Sterling might be the sacrificial lamb to achieve that. Maybe he could just be on the bench and observe a little bit. I want to see Modric play 90 minutes. We need to keep building his confidence.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I finished.
I think Coach may have some technical issues, or he's got a call or something.
So Roger, maybe I can. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'd like to see Modric only play 85 minutes actually, because he needs a standing ovation after a hat trick. Just kidding.
Who needs a standing ovation? I missed that.
So the gentleman had said that he wants to see Modric play for 90. And I retorted basically 85 is okay after a standing ovation.
There's actually a possibility that he doesn't start.
I know. I was just being silly.
Yeah, I know. I'll come to you, Jesse, in a bit. Just give me 1 minute here. And this is from who? Realistic Roger is in the house. Yep, give him his how do you phrase that again? Badia Sheila and James. Jesse, go ahead. Let me take care of something quickly.
Yeah, okay. No, I think we have more than enough players to get a result at Brentford. I think there are a lot of injured players, but we have the players which are available are good enough. Moreover, I would say is the improved players, which Jerry, you will agree, Roger will agree, Bobby will agree that Gallagher has been improving. We have Gallagher and in the midfield, and Sterling is playing well. And if you look at the team overall, the starting 11 has been playing well. So it's good enough score to get a result against Brentford. I think that shouldn't be a worry in the short run. Although I think like we will see more physical team. Brentford is more set pieces and physical and back five. So we will probably have a lineup which is more physical. Gallagher is going to definitely start. He will captain again. And we might see some changes in the back line to increase the height, and I think maybe even Madueke gets more game time, more of a game time, because he's physical, he's tall, and I think this is the best game to give him a start, because in our run-in this is the easiest game if you look at the future coming games. So I think, we can rotate. There are, in fact, enough players even for rotation. We have a problem like who starts up front. Like everybody is in form. So this team definitely is good enough to get a result at Brentford.
Thank you so much. Badia Sheila, Top is saying Badia Sheila and James are practicing with the first team. A big improvement. Broya and the Sassi are fit with Madrick and Modric are looking sharp. Broya, I heard, isn't fully fit. I'm not too sure. Maybe that has changed overnight. After the international break, okay, we'll be better off, you think? Let's be honest. We are going to have a minimum 4 to 5 players injured at rotation. That's why we need a good squad. Hopefully, some returns, some of them will return soon, and let the progress continue. I think, again, the more players who have feet, the stronger we'll be. I appreciate that. We don't need to rush players back. I agree, and I think had it been other managers, Rich James, he could have maybe he could have started that game against Arsenal. Maybe you feel that James, for lack of a better language, I think I like the way he's handling it. Even if James doesn't like it, he should calm down and let the process be gradual. We don't want to rush him back, and then he plays 1, 2, 3 games and then gets injured again. We have depth. Marlow and Kuku look more than worth it. Yep, I agree with you. Levi just endured Arsenal and now trains with England. Let's see what else we have. What's good? Just a hello, Chimera, hello to you too. I hope you're doing well. Bluetooth muscle tear. Yeah, that's funny, really. Okay, I'm not sure what to make of that. And he's saying that coach has what? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I don't. You have maybe. Mauricio looked very sharp in training, but training is very different from a match atmosphere, maybe. Brentford smacked us the last time we played them. What's the name of their manager again? A very, very smart manager at that. And sorry, Jesse, were you still speaking and I cut you off? Was that the case?
Oh, the last game, we lost 2-0. Brentford had one shot on target and we lost 2-0.
Wow.
One of the goals was own goal by Aspilicueta, and our best forward attacker was Kante.
Yeah, last thing comes in the Premier League, they beat us 2-0 at home. Yeah, I don't know if you guys want us to look at that. We'll do that in a bit. But Roger, let's talk about this. This is a London derby. I know probably a lot of people don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't this a London derby? And probably because they're not a big club, as big as Chelsea.
No,
people usually don't take them that serious. But let's hear you. What sort of game should we expect tomorrow?
listen, and they're West London, you know. They're in Brentford, which is, I know you probably don't know, it's close to Chiswick, close to Ealing. It's very West London, more west than Chelsea, and it's throw the records out the book. It's always when you play Fulham, QPR, Brentford, those games are intense. It's a big rivalry. So yeah, it doesn't matter. It's going to be their FA Cup final, so to speak. But listen, they've got a good coach too. I really respect him, the Dane. He's a really good manager, and he'll have his players up for it. I do believe, though, that Chelsea. Listen, you can't just go by the last match, but just the total sum of the last 4 to 5 games. We've looked more in sync, and I think we're going to cause them problems.
Would you really say, Richard? Would you say we have a much better team than we had last season? Last season when they beat us at home, it was at a time where we were really struggling. Nothing was going our way. Even when the manager when the manager made wholesome changes to the team, it still didn't work. So they beat us. But go ahead, Richard. Let me hear you.
No,
Yeah.
Well, virtually a different team from the most part, different coaching staff, and more importantly, different mindset. It's not so much. Listen, I think we had quite a few players last year that didn't want to be here, and I think that was borne out by the amount of players and whom left also. So I think that we're a completely different entity. I think you can ask Arsenal that. I think they can verify this wholeheartedly. Because we're definitely not the same players. The same team.
But more importantly, what's you can say the most significant difference, which you say is the commitment.
Yeah, it's a mindset. Yeah. It's their attitude towards it. I think I don't know. I think this is too strong of a term, but you could say that the dressing room was lost in so many ways. Really was last year. not making excuses, just being honest. I think there were players that didn't want to be there.
No, I thought maybe you were still representing Potter.
No, not at all. Coaching staff, not a lot worked, not a lot clicked last year. Plus, there were injuries. We all know that. But you look at this team currently, and it's a shadow of what it was last year in how we're playing. Listen, last year, the first 10 games, we had a better record. That doesn't mean anything. Mathematically, we were better on paper. But guess what? We're not. We're playing far more better. The eye test and the XG, we're a completely different team in that regard. I don't think anyone will argue differently in that regard.
Yeah, Jesse, it looks like you wanted to add something to that.
No, I was just saying last year was like that a lot of players were there. They didn't want to be there. It was Lampard who was like a temporary. We came up. I remember the same lineup after Real Madrid. It was a game after Real Madrid. So we had against Kante as a striker. I mean, it was it's chalk and cheese. I mean, you cannot compare that team with this
exactly.
team. That was all rubbish. I mean, it was all about vibes, and all. Like we were just like we are out of the relegation zone, and that's it, done with the season. This season we have turned a corner. I mean, okay, we are not like at the top, but we are moving in the right direction. And I think this team right now, as they are playing, we should get a result. Okay, I mean, you can expect Brentford to be very strong in set pieces, and they will be back five, but they are not like they are not like unbeatable. We can expect, definitely. Roger said correctly. It's a derby, or like a London derby.
Very much so.
Yeah, and they will be physical, yes, but I think we have the players to do the job. I think
more importantly, a more committed, you can say a crop of players.
Yeah, and players want to get a result, and these players are playing for their positions also, and like to show to the coach like an improvement, because they know players are coming back from injuries as well, and there is healthy competition, there is team spirit, everybody wants to win, they are supporting each other, we are functioning as a team, and there is a system in our playing style has a system, and believe me, I mean, I'll re-watch the match with Arsenal. The system is same. I mean, it's same, like in different phases. We go from 4-2-2 to 4-3-3, 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, and sometimes like we have like left back or right back bombing forward, but then one of the sitting backs joins if required in transition to the back line, and the way it is working. I mean, even when we have lost games, we have played better. I mean, we have been unlucky. The thing missing might be like finishing our chances, especially against low block teams. And I think Brentford will be defensive. So that's the only thing which I think can be okay. We have to break them down. But with the form Sterling is in, and the team is functioning, we are getting goals. I think we have got, in last 4 games we have got scored at least 2 goals per game. So
yeah, that's very correct. One in the last 3 games, at least 2 goals per game.
Yeah, so we have turned although most of those goals have been like deflections or like debatable, like Modric was a cross or a goal or things like, but still goal is a goal.
It comes from you pressuring the opposition team.
Yeah.
Even if anybody, if you think it's a deflection, it comes from your effort. But go ahead.
And confidence wise also, the team is in a different place. I mean, there is belief in this team now. I mean, the way they are playing, and I definitely think there are a lot of positives to take from Arsenal game. They will be more confident from that performance. They will gain confidence. So I think we will be fine. We should get the result.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Chimera is saying Brentford smacked us the last time we played. The last time we played, there was a 2-0 home defeat to us. They've been scoring too. Let's look at that. No. They've been scoring goals, yeah. In the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, they've scored in all those games. Yeah, so you're very correct. Yep. And Constantine, thank you so much for that information too. We have Vrana here saying we haven't beaten Brentford at home since they've been promoted. Are you serious? We at Stamford Bridge, 4-1 defeat. Wow, 2022, and 2-0 defeat the other one. And let's look at more here. Okay, that's FA Cup. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's concerning, really. But that hopefully changes. We'll see a different result tomorrow.
Which,
And so that's we.
if you will look at our back line, we last game against them we played like back three, and our back line was
Mhm.
Fofana, Chaloba, and Thiago, and then the right wing back was Espilicueta, and then the front we had Kante. Then we had also Kovacic there. We had Chilwell there. I mean, the height of the team, the physicality. Brentford is a set pieces, very tall team, very physical team, and that team I don't think can stop. There are set pieces, they will score at least once. And they had one shot on the target which they scored. The other was an own goal from Espilicueta from a corner. That also from a corner. That's how how bad we were. We are scoring an own goal from a corner kick. They have
Yeah.
but now this team you cannot. I mean, look at our team and the height and the physicality. Everything has improved. You have Disasi, Colwell adding height, and Gusto is not small. I think we will be fine. I mean, you cannot compare the last year's team. Last year was a washout completely, we can say.
Yeah, tough teams. Tough team. They play hard, but we need to win. No excuses. I think we need to win. If we take down Tottenham, Poch getting one over his ex will be big for his new girl. Wow, what a way to put it, and I like that. Back then we had a shy Havertz and Mount running recklessly, and we had other players that looked as if they they didn't want to be there. It's as simple as that. The 4-1 still hurts. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Just gotta play smart. No silly free kicks. Cause they pack the box to score. Yeah. Yep. Let's look at what else we have here. We played them how many times in total? 6, 7, 8 times in total. We've won 4 times. They've won twice, and we've drawn 2. And the team's recent form. We are in better form, but that's no guarantee. After all, I'm gonna keep saying this until proven otherwise. And yeah, Charity FC is still well and truly in existence. But if you look at the teams we've beaten of late, you could say maybe not really. Maybe Charity FC, maybe he's packing his stuff and on the verge of leaving. Then we'll see for them. They lost to Manchester United, drew to Nottingham Forest, lost to Brentford, lost to Arsenal, so to speak, at home, and yeah, lost to Everton at home too. They've been awful of late, but let's see. That's no guarantee that we'll beat them. Insights, Jerry. I hope you're paying attention. We're ranked 10th in goals scored per game, 1.4. That has improved. It was 0.99, I think, about a month ago or so. Ranked fourth in goals conceded per match, at least one goal per game. That's a problem, really. Have scored 9 goals in their last 5 games, so we've been scoring. They're ranked ninth in goals scored per match, so they're better than us, 1.6 per game for them. Have scored 6 goals in their last 5 matches, so I think we scored more in our last 5 matches than them. They're ranked 10th in shots on target per match, 4.9 shots per game. Jerry, anything do you think we should pay attention to with regards to the insights?
Uh, Thank you so much. No, not really. It just shows as a whole that the stats for Brentford as a whole over the period of 9 games are decent, and they also have underperformed, right? Because where they
Mhm.
are in the table right now. So again, like it's early days, right? Still, a sample size of 9 won't paint a good realistic picture, right? So we only have to see what we have right now. And as you were talking to the panel for the last question about how the game would go or how we see the game to to be playing out in the field. So I see a similarity, in my opinion, of research that I have done for this week, is that I see a similar pattern for Chelsea, the way we played the first half against Fulham and Arsenal. So we'll be very intense and aggressive, and we have being off the ball with less possession has worked for us in the 4 games. But this time, even though it's not won't be a part of a strategy, but I don't think so that Brentford would be adventurous or will be dominating the position. So it will come back again with us dominating the position, having a large share of the position, and really dominating the midfield. But again, it will come down to the old headache. And I hope with the run of games we had with the 3-win and draw in the last 4 games, we'll able to penetrate with all the chances that we'll create. And it will be interesting to see also Brentford, right? It's not only when we talk about tactic and the game is one side, we have to see the other side as well. So Brentford this year has changed the formation. They played 3-5-2 for the last year. But interestingly, they are playing with a 4-3-3. But interestingly, as I observe and research, they played a 3-5-2 against Manchester United and Newcastle. So against bigger teams, they're still playing with the back three. So I see that happening again tomorrow. And again, they will be defensive with a low block. But I'm not concerned right now because we are playing well. And we'll be aggressive in the first half. I see a pattern where we'll dominate. And if we are in the lead second half, we'll let them have the ball. This is how I see the game to play out. And so it will be interesting. I see we'll end up with a comfortable win tomorrow, hopefully. And as far as the stats you said, you showed me that there's nothing much that I can make a concrete you can say structure for this game, because it's showing individual stats for both Brentford and Chelsea. All I can see in those stats is that Brentford is also like the stats that you showed me, where they are in the table, they are also underperforming. And as the other panelists also explained, to round up this talk about this topic, we have to be careful with their physicality. They're a physical team, and of course, the set pieces we have to be careful. So I see us considering a goal in this game.
Wow. Let's hear Mr. Physicality himself. Bobby, if you're there, we still do we will still do the predicted lineup exercise. But what we have here, Fortmob is predicting that we'll have a back four of Cucurella left back, 2 centre backs, Colwell and Silva, and right back Gusto. This back line, aerially, Cucurella is actually excellent, even though he's not the tallest. Colwell, I don't trust him that much. Silva, sometimes you'll be shocked at how awful he is in terms of defending aerial balls. Gusto, I don't know him that much in terms of his aerial ability. So if we need physicality, I see the Sassi coming in. Who makes way? Let's hear you, Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, the physicality issue is definitely a question I see slightly differently. But before I get to that, I have to say that there is nothing that happened in the past few seasons, and certainly last season, that will have any bearing on this game. This is an entirely different Chelsea team. It's a different dynamic. It's a different a technical approach. It's a different manager. And the good thing about Pochettino is that he's exhibited tactical systems of forward play in the past few games that we didn't have, certainly last season. So I think Brentford, in terms of the old ways where people will sit down and they would know Chelsea and study Chelsea and come at Chelsea, that's out of the window. We're a bit of an unknown to them. And also added to that, this is not the team of last season, full of players that were dispirited and disinterested and demotivated, and many of whom were not really at their best. Let's put it that way. So this is a different kettle of fish. Now, in terms of the physicality at the back, I know and I'd like to believe that that's not an area that Pochettino ignores. And I buy the idea of Desassi. Desassi is physical, he's good in the air, he's strong. So I can see a situation where he puts as your centre backs Desassi. He likes Thiago Silva so much. I wouldn't personally play Thiago in this game, but I know he will. So he will have Disasi and Thiago as your centre backs. He will put Levi as your left back and put Cucurella as your right back, and have both Badiashile and Gusto on the bench. That's how I think he'll go with this game, because defensive solidity will be everything.
Mhm.
And he will give up a little bit of the offensive play that having someone like Gusto on would give you for that. I mean, you can bring him on later on in the second half or so. Remember, there are 5 substitutions still, so there's still flexibility. I think if we have our game plan right, despite the fact that we don't have a striker, as it were. I mean, surely, I mean, we've got to beat these people, really. I mean, I know it's often you say that with Chelsea, and the reverse is the case, but this is a different dynamic now with this team. We've got to get serious, and we've got to be winning these games. So if we get our game plan right, um, and our physicality right, because they will be physical, I think we should be all right, really. Somebody was talking about playing Modric 90 minutes earlier. Modric is not going to be the 90-minute guy. I think part of sustaining him will be by not playing him 90 minutes, especially in a game like this that's going to be very physical, because they'll try and kick him. So we have to be flexible. We have to be tactically astute, and we have to be wise in how we use our players and not start courting injury just because we want a particular player to play in a certain way, which has been the Chelsea problem. We flogged people like Kante when he was here because he played a certain way, and we played him game after game after game after game. We can slightly get away with that with um, Thiago Silva, that Pochettino likes, because at the moment we're playing once a week. So that's how I see the defense. It will be that back four lineup of left back Colwill, centre backs Desasi and Thiago, and right back Cucurella. That's a pretty physical dynamic, and certainly as physical as we have at our disposal at the moment.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bobby. Before I come to you, JC, just give me one moment. I need to take care of something here quickly. Let's give those in the chat the microphone for a bit, and then I'll come back to you, JC, if you don't mind. It won't take much time. I need to shut off something here. Yeah, I'm trying to open FOTMOB to follow the Tottenham game, but it's draining the life out of my internet connection for reason I don't know. Collington, hello, and Collington, that's not nice. Is Roger the only panelist here? Hello, Roger. Nice to be here again. I love the community atmosphere. I appreciate you finding the time to join us today again, Collington. I was only joking. Give Roger all the love. After all, a lot more people attack him than they love him. Casado, Enzo, and Gallagher is probably perfect for this. We'll see. Gallagher, yes, definitely. I'd like to see another attacker play. Maybe rest Gallagher, as it's not very effective against low blocks. I think that's a very good argument. But do you think they would defend deep? Well, we'll find out what the manager does. Hi to you too, Eugene. I appreciate you finding the time to join. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes will go a long way. We have unbeaten run as Saints Enzo played on his best role. I think that's a good observation right there. You could argue that, but not just him. Gallagher also playing in his best position, hurt him or like him. I wouldn't play Silva either. Rest him as well. Also, how Brentford play maybe cause problem for him, or maybe problematic for him. I think that's a solid argument too. This says we're good. Just people exchanging greetings and DJ. So big up to you, brother. Nice to see you. Good evening, Coachila, and everyone. Good evening to you too. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining the show. Hey, DJ, and it says the Palace 0 Tottenham 0, 27 minutes into the game. A good sign. Constantine, and just people saying hello. Let's hear you, Jesse. What do you make of that what we're talking about right now. If you need, you could say, should I call it aerial stability, if there's anything like that. If we want, you could say, if we want to be able to deal with the, you could say, the aerial ball approach, I don't think this back line will be good enough. Except for Kukurea, as small as he is, he's aerially, he's excellent aerially, in my opinion. Thiago Silva, not consistent at it. If the manager, if Kukurea starts in the left back position, and also two things here. Kukurea starts in the left back position, which means Levi Kowa has a place in the central area. Will fight for a place in the central area. So now we have Levi Kowa, Thiago Silva, and Axel Disasi. What happens there? What do you think happens there, JC?
Well, I am with Bobby on this, but with a little tweak. I think Brentford, in all previous games, they first come and try to defend, like stay in the game for as long as possible, to keep the score level, not concede a goal. So initially, we might, if we want to attack a little bit, I would maybe, instead of Cucurella as a right back, I would put Gusto there. But if I am trying to be like, which I doubt, Poch will do, but we can also have as James starting as right back. But all then again, there is also a fourth option, which is like totally, if we go to the extreme, like meh. But there is a possibility always, as Jerry says, like mathematically. Now we also have Badiashile, I think, available. So if Badiashile is available, Disasi as right back and Colwell as left back, and Thiago and Badiashile, I think that's a towering four. Like you imagine, like those four will definitely not let like any headers go by. But I don't think that will
But
happen.
beyond that,
I,
how about balls on the carpet? You need mobility and
yeah,
pick up
yeah.
players on the on the in the fullback position to deal with it effectively. But go ahead with what you were saying.
But realistically, I think like if we have to see, like if we go first attack and initially, then maybe Gusto, start with Gusto and then substitute him later on and bring in Cucurella. Uh, Maybe bring in James later on to have more aerial presence when we have like a more defensive
Do
requirement.
you think James is good aerially?
He's physically strong. He's
Yeah, but
physically
yeah,
strong.
that you give him that, but I don't think he's good aerially actually. But go
No,
ahead.
he's not taking a lot of headers, but he definitely does not. He just like if you want to block that right side, then having James is the best option physically, in my opinion. And if you look at set pieces of Brentford, most of the time, what they are trying to, there is a pattern in their set pieces. They always try and overload the far post, like the further, and then they are taking hits like rebounds or anything like that. So also very important will be like Sanchez and his quality to come out and collect the balls, which he does actually very well, which he does very well. so
Oh yeah,
so
I give him that.
yeah, so unlike like Kepa was not coming out a lot collecting balls, but Sanchez does that. So that reading of the game will be important. But I think I agree that Bobby's back four with the slight tweak. Like if we have to attack first, if then maybe on a right back still start with Gusto instead of Kukure.
Hmm. No, Kukurea, I think Kukurea Gusto starts in the right back position, in my opinion. He keeps his place. And left back position, I think Kukurea will keep his place from the last game. But here's the thing, I'd still say this. Even after saying that, I'd still say we don't have too much to work with in terms of correctly predicting Mauricio Pochettino's selection. Roger, let's hear you. The back four. Before we move on to the lineup prediction exercise, what do you think happens really? If we really because Bobby is correct. I think he's shown like he trusts the Sassi, and how many games he played, even when he was shaky, he still selected him to start. And over time, you can say he's become solid in that back line and it's done quite well. So if he's fit enough to start, chances are he starts. So what happens? Do you see the manager moving Cowell to left back and dropping Kukurea, or Kukurea comes to you can say plays in the right back position? Because I get it, Gusto made, you can say, was ball watching for that second goal we considered against Arsenal. But other than that, in my opinion, I think overall he did well defensively. But let's hear you, Roger. What do you think the manager would do to accommodate the succeed? Okay, I'm gonna give those in the chat the microphone. It looks like Roger has gone to get a cup of coffee, maybe. Um, just responding to you in there. Jackson might not even start. Yep, because if it's not broken, why try to fix it? Last time, the fluid approach, a more fluid approach, because Jackson also can participate in a fluid approach. But I think, yeah, it just seemed as if we were better off the last time. Why, I can't quite put my fingers on why that was the case on the day. I don't know, JC. Let me ask you this question: why did he look? Why did it seem again the last game? It just seemed as if we were better off without Jackson, but I know he offers something different. Of all the players we had in the front line in our attacking area the last game, he's more physical than all of them, in my opinion. But why does this again? It just seemed as if we were better off without him on the pitch on the day. Do you have any idea?
Last game, we before Jackson, we were playing with two up front of Palmer and Gallagher, like, and they were like false nine, what you call, or something, and against their two center backs, like this system was working better because they were confusing their center backs with their runs. I mean,
Yeah,
they didn't have a
they weren't able to deal with the moves, runnings, and all that. Go ahead.
yeah, there was no central focal point for them to concentrate on, so those movements, and like that system created some problems. But the moment we brought on Jackson, first I think Jackson was still he had a surgery 1 week ago, so I think
Yeah, it wasn't
he's
fully fit.
yeah, I mean, if he had a surgery, there might be stitches still on his hand, and he's playing, on a physical game. So I really didn't know whether he was sharp enough. But then when you bring him on, and then also, I mean, you remove I forgot actually. It was only Jackson first who came in for whom it was for Mudrik. I think he came,
I can't
but
quite remember. I think
yeah,
it was some Mudrik.
yeah.
Yes,
So
for Modric.
yeah,
Okay.
so that changed the system in a way, like, okay, their center backs had a focal point to defend against, and changed our shape a little bit. So life became a little bit easier for them, and also Mudrik's contribution were really I mean, not so much highlighted his contributions defensively, because he was tracking back really well to help out with the overlap runs of Saka and others on Kukurea. So that part also became a little bit weaker. Defensively, our left side became a little bit weaker as well. So I think, like, but I mean, it's my opinion. I mean, so it can be, or you can also say, is like
No, but it
Arsenal.
makes sense.
Yeah, but Arsenal also increased in intensity. Our front two were tired. I mean, because a lot of pressing was done by these two, Palmer and Gallagher. So they were also tired. So even if you do not make substitutions, these players will have a drop in performance because they are tired. So you need fresh legs, definitely also. So, but anyway, I mean, there are a lot of positives to take out from that. So I don't want
Yeah,
to
I
dwell
mean,
on
I'm not too
negatives.
concerned about the performance overall. Here's
Yeah,
the thing, more
yeah.
important, something you mentioned that I agree with. The more fluid approach, Arsenal, when it was difficult for them to deal with. Um, yeah, and it helped. But that's not me saying Jackson is a bad player. Just that we were different on the day. And we seemed more effective than we've been with him on the pitch. That's not saying he's bad. After all, he's able to participate in the fluid approach too. And Kuku so far, the Sassi and Gusto, that's Eugene's. If Eugene or if he was the manager, Yeah, that would be his back line. But I don't see the Sassi and Silva starting to get being the parent there, in my opinion. But we'll find out. If anything, I think Silva
I,
drops.
I would say I do not see Colville being benched,
Yeah,
to be honest.
aha, that's another way to put it. I don't see Cowell being benched, and maybe that would be easier for people to understand. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't see him being benched. But we need big bodies to get rid of Brentford's set piece. That's why we've been arguing. How can the manager accommodate this? I see because Cowell has done well, Silva has done well, Kukure has also done well, and Kukure is also good aerially. Maybe like JC talked about, I think JC, correct me if I'm wrong, you did talk about the Sassi playing the right back position, and he's played there before. He's played in the right back position for Monaco. So maybe the
Yeah.
manager would do that.
Yeah, he played for Chelsea as well. I think. Yeah. Yeah. One game, the
Has he?
first
Okay.
game.
Oh, after red card. Was it after red card to?
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
I,
After the
yeah.
red card
Okay.
in that game, and he did very well actually. Even going forward, attacking wise, he was decent. He was like, we were attacking with them, and
Honestly, in
he
my
was.
opinion, yeah, I wouldn't want a big player like him to be running that much.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't want him to get injured. Yes, okay, just people having a conversation there. So let's get into the lineup building exercise, and once we're done with that, we call it a day. Let's just call this a starting structure. It's quite clear now that Pochettino uses a hybrid approach in every game. Um, it's not stable. You can see, yeah, that we're starting with a 3-4-2-1 structure. And then when the game starts, you see the application is different. You see, sometimes you even see 4-4-2. Sometimes you see 4-3-3. So let's go with a 4-3-3, which you can say predominantly the games before, because the last one, if you watch it again, it just seemed as if it is 4-2-3-1 more than it was a 4-3-3. But it's easy to change it to 4-3-3 because the 10 can actually drop to make the midfielders of three to complete the midfielders of three, in my opinion. So let's see you, Roger. I don't know if you're there, you're back, or you're still getting coffee. Did you go to Starbucks? Okay, it doesn't look like it's there. So Bobby, give us your back four, and you know how we operate here. If anybody if the panelists, if we don't agree on anything, we go to the chat to find a solution. But unfortunately, once you use the poll to plug in a player, usually you get an opinionated for lack of a better term, a selection. Or you can say a selection driven by people's opinion, not really what the manager would do. But let's hear you, Bobby. You're back four. And let me just take care of the
Yeah.
most difficult one here.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean,
I said, let me take care of
what
the most difficult one, which is the goalkeeper. But let's hear your back four.
every match poses a different challenge,
Right. Yeah.
and we should not expect to regurgitate what we did in one game in another. You know, Arsenal is very different to Brentford, as would Spurs be very different to anybody else. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a slight sort of blueprint with which we approach games, but quite fundamentally, the purpose of having different players is to be able to use them for different duties and to be able to switch the team around, which is what I hope they'll be working on the training ground this week. I hope. However, having said that, I'll stick with the back four that I mentioned earlier because I think I can see him do that. Yes, people think that Cucurella perhaps isn't tall enough or isn't offensive enough. I see that. That is sensible. I also thought in my mind, does Brentford pose as much of an aerial threat as perhaps Nottingham Forest did or perhaps Villa did? I'm not so sure. So are they that threatening? And there was a point that Jay-Z made that they sit back a lot, especially early in games, to try and soak up pressure and then see if they can nick one. So it's a balancing act, but still, I stick to what I suggested because I think we still need to be physically strong at the back. And I think offensively, both Colwell and Cucurella are good enough, especially if a team sits back. that allows them to venture forward, and that allows them a little bit of time to do what they need to do. So I will go back for, of course, goalkeeper. People are talking about Petrovic. I don't see him starting Petrovic,
Oh yeah.
unfortunately. I think he will. Sometimes with the goalkeeper, you have to persist and give them enough rope to hang themselves if they're going to hang themselves, unfortunately. So I don't think we can experiment, but I think, somebody should have a stern word in Sanchez's ear. I think if he does that again, giving the ball to the opposition, whether it results in a goal or not, he ends up on the bench in the next game, no matter what that game is. So um, I go with Colwill left back, centre back two
Okay.
of Silva and Desassi, and I will have Cucurella's right back.
But for you, this is your preferred lineup. You're not trying to predict what you think the manager would do. That's what we're trying to do.
I think he could do that. I think he
Okay.
could do that.
Okay. You say Desassi and Silva.
Yeah,
Right?
because why I think he could do that was that he did that against Burnley. He tends to do that against, dare I say it, the lesser teams. He has less fluid and more dogged players. So I know injury has caused him to do that also, but I can see it. I can see that happen, because the one thing we shouldn't do is do what Brentford expect us to do. Their manager's far too smart to play into their hands.
Thomas
So
Frank.
if we do something that is a little bit different, I think that will confuse them. They're not that gifted a team as to be expansive, as to know how to adjust so drastically. They'll need to have the game go and just study what's going on the pitch before they can react, and by then they could already be in trouble. So that's what I think he will do, but of course it's left to be seen.
All right, thank you so much for that, Bobby. And Eugene is saying that I thought Silva played last game for both for himself and Levi Cowell in terms of defending. Jerry, did you agree with that? I know you and Eugene are friends, but let me don't be biased here. Do you agree that was the case? And for me, I think he looked a bit lost. I have to be honest. But you could say put that down to the fact that he's played a majority of the games in the left back position, so it would take a while for him to reacclimatize to playing in the central area. But let's hear you.
To comment on Eugene's statement, you mean?
Let's Jesse. I'll come to you. I'm talking about Jesse.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, it's a solid argument, to be honest, because
You're sure you're not just siding with your friend Eugene?
no, I'm not going to say like Colville was that bad. I would say Thiago was very good. I mean, he was in the right spots many times, and he was kind of marshalling that defense. So yeah, I mean, I won't say I won't underrate the performance of Colville that much, but Eugene has a solid point. Yes. I mean. But this is Thiago. I mean, when he has got defenders alongside him, they all look better. He's good at that. His last season he played with Chaloba and Espiliqueta and Fofana, who didn't have his best season, but still our defensive record was one of the best in the league. I mean, how do you do that? How do you do that? I mean, the Thiago is still performing very at a high level, and
Very.
indeed, yeah, and indeed he marshals that young defense quite well. I mean, it probably will be his last year, but it is high time. Like Colville, Badiashil, they learn from him
and step up.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. Jerry, you wanted to say something before we move on?
No, I just thought that you asked me the question. So
Oh, okay. Bobby, you said you're right back again because I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have Z pick his back four. I'll still come to you, JC. Bobby, you're right back. I forgot. Who did you pick for the right back position?
Cucurella.
Kukurea. Okay. So JC, let's say your back four. Do you agree or do you disagree?
I always agree with Bobby, but for the back four, I will have to disagree. Again, it's just a prediction. We are predicting lineups, right? It's not an
Yeah,
easy
we're trying to.
task.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So footballing wise, I have more in common with Bobby. Anyhow, for the back four, I'll stick with the same back four that we played against Arsenal. I know it might not be a popular consensus, just because of the continuity and because of the cup game. In the next 9 days from tomorrow, we'll be playing three games: Blackburn and Tottenham. So we have ample of chance to rotate. And if we hopefully like take the lead, we can always make the subs earlier. So that's why I believe Cocorella will start as a left back because the way he is playing and it is natural position. And now that Reece James and Gusto are back, that is why I don't see a reason, though it can be a good reason, which Bobby did make. It does make sense, but I think for continuity and now because we have options at the right back for both Reece James and Gusto, that's why I think Cucurella would be better and fine in the long term moving forward as left back for continuity purpose, and Kovel and Silva as center back and Gusto as right back. I would have just to make it clear, I would personally would have picked Reece James to start, but Pochettino mentioned in the press conference that Reece James will be on the bench, so that's why I'll have Gusto as a right back.
All right, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's see. We've addressed that one from Eugene. I'd go full attack in the first half with Sterling, Mudryk, and Palmer, and bring on Jackson in the second half, and play more strategic and conservative. But we'll see what happens in the day. Arsenal played a very offensive, which gave the boys in the Blues spaces to exploit. Brentford will play very defensive. This is a game that needs creativity. I think I agree with you. I've always said actually we tend to play well against the big boys, and the reason being that they come at us. They don't defend deep, so big games are usually easier for us. It would take a bid of at least 80 million for Manchester City to consider selling Argentine forward Julian Alvarez, who's 23. Do I think they will sell him? I don't think so. I would take him to Chelsea. I know Bobby likes him too, but I don't think they will sell him. Even Julian himself these days is playing more and more, so probably wouldn't want to move elsewhere. Silva been caught out of 3 times, of 3 goals this season on a counter. So you're saying we need you can say a pacier player, or a quicker player in that particular position, and we have that. But the Sheila is ready. I think is quicker, probably as nearly twice as much as quick as Thiago Silva, and reads the game as well as Thiago Silva too. But let's see what the manager does. I didn't even select Badia Sheila for my predicted lineup, and that's because even though I know he's fully fit and I know what he's capable of doing, we don't know what the manager wants to do with him yet. Until that happens, there's no telling where he belongs to this team. Why would they sell him? Alvarez, they need him. I don't think they will sell him. And plus, he's playing now. And that the aspect of him playing begs the question, would he want to leave? Colwell was a mess, very shaky on the day. Constantine, the article does not mean they will sell him. Yeah, it's just saying it would take that much money to get them to consider selling him. I'm listening on this podcast because I am doing something, but I need to ask Jerry Z why Reece James need to start by his performance from 2 years ago. Jerry, did you say you start Reece James?
Yeah. So what's the question?
Again, did you say you start Reece James, right? He's saying,
No.
He's asking you, okay, you didn't say that, right?
I said that when we were predicting the starting lineup, I would have Reece James in the starting lineup, but Pochettino mentioned that he's not fit. He'll be on the bench.
Yeah, he's only fit enough to be on the bench. Yeah.
But can I type in also a little bit for Jerry here
Sure.
for you, Jerry?
Sure.
See, why we consider like when fully fit and match fit, Reece James is there. He starts. He's our captain, and Poch will always start him. That's for sure. Whenever there is an opportunity, and also if you look at match fitness, if he has to regain match fitness, this is the easiest game in the coming month. So he would definitely bring him on to get some more match fitness, not to overplay him, but to get some match fitness. I think he's surely being coming on as a substitute for sure. Because moving on in the next games, we might see Reece James starting actually. Yeah, I get point of view, Jane. Like for his performance from 2 years ago. But to be honest, from the December when we were top of the league under Tuchel, when both Reece James and Chilwell got injured and our season crashed, then the sanctions came, then this new ownership, all these changes, and then again their injuries. I mean, they've not played for so long. Like not they didn't have even a run of games, to be honest, to be judging them. Reece James played for us 2 years ago. You can say that, argue that, but not like he didn't. He played bad after that. He hardly played after that. So, so that's the
Yeah, I
argument in favor of Reece James. A fully fit Reece James might be a good player.
yeah, might at this time, might is the correct word to use for that. Badiashile must get exposure on the pitch. I think he will. Do I think it starts? We don't know. We'll find out. Yep. DJ, stop teasing us here. We want to concentrate. James can start in cup games to get fitness. I think I agree with you. He most likely will play against is that Blackburn Rovers. That's the guys who play. The team will play after the Brentford game. I think that game will still Petrovic also, in my opinion. But that's by the way. Yeah, the back four. So we have to
Coachila,
use.
I can I tap in a little bit for this back four? If we
Yeah, go ahead.
will
Okay, you
see,
haven't actually selected your back four, so let's see if
if
you
you have
differ.
Kukurea, if you have Kukurea as right back, he will not be making a lot of crosses from his right foot, and he will primarily be like plugging the defensive part. And I can assure you, Sterling will not be tracking back a lot in this match. I mean,
So
so
you think we'll be
Sterling,
better off
if
with
Kukurea,
Kukurea in the left back?
yeah, if Kukurea is right back, then Sterling is left winger, and Palmer is right winger for sure.
Hmm.
So I think that brings a more balance. We saw that against Burnley or somebody, like, against also this cup game had Brighton. He had this that whenever Kukurea is on right back, Sterling is on left wing,
Yeah, I
just
do
not
see.
to expose that. So
Mhm.
so that decision might also affect the front three. To so
Yeah.
so so and to be honest, might be like he does not start Disasi and he puts Kukurea, because Kukurea attacks well from the left back. He attacks well. He's done decent job there together with
Yep. Defense
with
well, he attacks well, and if you knew him when he played for, I mean, if you watched him when he played for Brighton, you see that he actually puts a lot of good crosses into the box. But JC, let's hear your midfield three. Let's hear you.
oh, midfield three is nailed on. Huh? Enzo Casado and
Let me take care of the most difficult one for you there, so you don't have to work too much.
yeah,
Uh,
Gallagher starts definitely. His physicality is needed, and Enzo.
how about the argument from Constantin Dante that these guys would defend deep, and we need a more creative player? I think we still need him. He would do more. He would do more. Again, in terms of helping us deal with the physicality of a Brentford. You could say a Brentford side, and they play high octane football. Actually, what do you think? Do you think it makes sense to say, look, let's drop him? He's not creative enough because they would defend deep.
Okay, our task here at the panel right now is to predict the starting lineup of Poch, and
Yep, and not. Yeah, go ahead.
during the press conference, he clearly stated that Reece James is not ready to start, and Chilwell is not fit. So Gallagher will lead the team out as the captain, and he is starting.
Mm.
You get the logic, and that's
Yeah, it
based
makes
on
sense.
that.
Yeah.
I think if I have to predict, and Gallagher's physicality, he's the right type of player. I think for a team like to press and to stop that transition counter attack. That kind of role he plays well. He I think he suits that. So defensively, or a balanced side, we are better in that sense. But let us see. I mean, you can put it to the poll, and we see like. But how would Constantine think? Like, look at it like to be having Palmer in place of Gallagher as a 10 or something.
No, as one of the eighth flanking Casado. I think for England, that's actually you can say on England under 21, of course. That Palmer plays deeper. He plays as one of the eights of flanking the DM here for England.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you have like Sterling, Mudrik, and Jackson up front. Yeah, okay, it's super attacking.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, you did mention something more importantly. We're trying to predict what Pochettino would do. This is
Yeah,
not our preferred lineup, but what we think the manager would do. Um,
mm,
yeah, so
yeah.
I agree with you on that one.
It's a
I don't think,
difficult choice. I mean,
yeah,
to
it
be
is.
honest, like,
But in
uh,
honest, you said it, Jesse. Gallagher starts, but go ahead with what you were saying.
I mean, to choose six players out of the seven, like Sterling, Mudrik, Palmer, Jackson, four up front, we have only place for three, and then one of them can slot in at the midfield where we have three. So we have one play. I mean, all of them deserve. All of them give an exciting option. And that's it. Like, and to be honest, like now, Poch might have to rotate the players in a way, like depending on like how the game is going, how a person is playing against somebody else, like fine tweaks or something. It's a good problem to have. He has choices. Even with all those injuries, there is a choices for attacking and there is a choices for defense. And that's why in the beginning, when we had discussion, like we have so many injuries, I said we still have the team to get the result. I mean, you see, we see that there are players there. Okay, I mean, the depth is not very large, but still, I mean, if you have to choose the starting 11, we have, I probably 13 informed players, 13 or 14 informed players.
Hey, coach, I'm
Yeah, thank you
sorry,
so
I'm
much.
back.
Let's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
want to
I'll come to you in a bit.
sorry.
Yeah, I'll come to you in a bit, and I'm not gonna let Tabaho to speak. I don't like him. James can start in the calm games and get some fitness. If Rhys James picks up an injury in the next month, I think the serious time to consider him for sale. I think the club will do the same too. I've given up on him honestly. It's until he proves he can, you can say, recover and stay fit. Come on, people, keep smashing the likes on the video. We have 34 likes. We should be doing better than that. Sincerely, do
But to be
appreciate all the
honest,
support.
on James, let's be honest. To be honest, on James, his injury was like serious injury on hamstring, and then he rushed it because of the World Cup. He was trying to get fit for the World Cup, so he didn't
Didn't
go
he
for
go
proper.
under the knife?
He didn't go for the World Cup, but he did rush his treatment. He was trying to be in time for the World Cup, but he didn't make it. And then
No.
when he came back, then he got injured again. And that was also like, okay, I mean, it was a rushed cure. So now he has a proper time. I mean, there is depth in the squad, so he can take his time. Don't rush him in, and let him be fully fit. And
So you think it will be
and
different this time?
I hope so. I hope so. He's not so eager to play. Like okay, every player is eager to play, but I mean the medical team has to manage the players better, so they're playing hours to be better and their returns from injury, because we shouldn't be rushing in players, especially right now when we have problems who to start. Why to rush him?
Yeah, I do agree with you. For the sake of creativity, I think Palmer should play in the 10 role. Yeah, I think most definitely he starts. Yes, Palmer as a 10, a 4-2-3-1 structure. Casado can break up a play. Didn't you say Brentford sits back? Keep a draw as long as possible. I think it's important for us to go and score. Yeah, it's important we score first, and yeah, and score as early as possible, because as the game winds down and we haven't scored, they will grow in confidence and can hurt us on the break. Mudrik left wing, Jackson striker, Starling a right wing, Palmer 10 in the 4-2-3-1 structure. This structure is actually, you could say, I think that's what. Let's see. We're not too sure. The manager. It's been a hybrid structure in all games, so it's difficult to say what we will see as the starting structure. I like to use that language because I've never seen a game where we say it is 4-2-3-1, and then the game starts and we played with 4-2-3-1 throughout the entirety of the game, for the entirety of the game, so to speak. No, sometimes it would take you watching the game over and over again to find out, okay, this was actually the structure we use. We need to score at least 2-3 goals. Yeah, because they do score 2. Has Jackson scored since Luton? Yeah. Hasn't he? Yeah, he has. Yep. He scored
Burnley.
after the. He
Burnley
scored
game.
after. That was what game? Burnley. Yeah, you're very correct. Let's see how this guy that I don't like. Yes, he has. Thank you for responding to that. Let's hear you, Tebejo, my brother from the and let me not just call him my brother again. But Tebejo, if you're there, bro, what's up? I hope you're doing well.
I'm not doing well. Why am I seeing Marco Corella as a right back?
We will fix that. It's a show where everybody's opinion matters, and we'll start with the panelists. And if the panelists don't agree, and then we go to those in the chat to help us decide. And they're still voting on it. 5 votes, 100%. Marco Correa for left back. So, but don't shoot me, okay? I'm just a messenger here. But let's hear your back four.
Okay, my back four.
And you don't
Marco
have to worry
Corella.
about the difficult part, which is selecting the goalkeeper. I've taken my time to do the analysis, and I've selected Sanchez. So you go ahead with the back four.
My back four will be Marco Corella as a left back, Thiago Silva and Levi Colwell as our centre backs, and then our right back, Malo Gusto.
Okay, it's a Cucurella, Silva. No, you said Colwell and Silva, right?
Yeah, Colwell Silva.
Remember, this is not your preferred lineup. We're talking about
Yeah.
what we think the manager would do. So Colwell here, right? I think
Yes.
if anything, this is the more likely lineup we'll see. But that's what I think. Bobby may well be the one with the correct selection there, and Silva there, right?
Correct.
And right back, did I hear you say Bosingwa?
Malo Gusto.
All right, that's your back four. So we'll check the 2 center backs. I think I have to use the poll also. 7 votes, 86%. And given how many people will have watching, I think Cucurella wins the left back position, and I think he will start there again, in my opinion. But let's hear you go ahead if you are still talking.
Yes, and then with the midfielder, I'm happy as long as Gallagher's there.
Mm-hmm. So you're
The
good
only
with that.
DJ, the only argument why we chose Colville as a left back over Cucurella was just for his height. To be honest, if you look at last 4 games, Cucurella has done better as left back than Colville did. That's my
Wouldn't
opinion.
you say he's good aerially, JC? He's good aerially.
Probably yes.
I've been paying
Yes.
attention, really.
Yeah.
But go ahead with what
You
you were
can
saying.
argue that. Yeah, you can argue that. Yeah. Even if he is not tall enough to reach the ball, he does enough to like rattle the opponent. I mean, he does not
Exactly.
He has a good leap in him.
Yeah. He won't let you take an easy header for sure. Yeah. But most of the time, it's surprising, but most of the time he's winning the aerial battles as well. That's true.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And we've been looking at the numbers too ourselves. Roger, let's hear you. Your thoughts on the selection so far, the back four, the goalkeeper. Don't worry about the goalkeeper. Don't disturb yourself. But the back four.
So this is going to be a very interesting game. This will tell us a lot about what the manager and coaching staff will settle on, what they perceive to be their best lineup in the back four. Because now I believe Disasi will be fit, correct? And will be available for choice.
Disasi will be available for selection. Badiashile will be available for selection. So let me add to that number for you. So go ahead.
No. So this tells us quite a bit. Assuming there's no injury in warm-up, this will tell us what his preferred back four will be. And when it comes to Cucurella, in the States they call it hang time. like in basketball, like Michael Jordan, how long you can maintain aerial ability to challenge someone. So Cucurella's hang time is impressive, really is. I'm not sure, because you're right about his height, but then again, I believe that I have a feeling that Gusto, because Disasi was the main factor for Colwell coming in the back and playing Cucurella on the left and Gusto on the right. I believe, and plus Gusto's return from suspension.
I thought Colwell has been on the left for a while, even before Gusto started getting. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Gusto's returned now, and so from suspension. So those two were big factors, namely Disasi and Gusto not being available. So whatever happens tomorrow, this will give us great insight as to where we believe this coaching staff thinks what is best going forward.
If we don't mind, I'm going to say, I'm going to say quickly why tomorrow may not be the day. Why do I say that? We have a cup game coming. We have a cup game coming. That's when probably, because that cup game, those guys you would think will give them a headache for tomorrow. You probably would like to see them play in the cup game, the Blackburn game, before deciding what to do with them, in my opinion. I think he will go with those he already trusts tomorrow.
No, exactly. I think actually, I understand that could come into the equation, but actually I don't think so. I think he believes that I think he believes that he'll go with a lot of alternatives. There'll probably be 6 or 7 different players starting for us on the cup game. I really do. But I get what your logic is. I really do.
Do you really?
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm actually not funny. I'm actually really torn between whether Colwell starts at left back or Cucurella. I really am.
Here's my opinion. Cucurella is actually better aerially than Colwell, until he proves me wrong. He seemed to struggle aerially. Colwell seemed to struggle aerially, in my opinion.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think he's been struggling quite a bit in other areas as well. But he's young, and he's
still very young.
Yeah. So listen, you have players like Badiashile could start for us. We don't know. I doubt it, but you get my drift. I think, to be honest with you, Badiashile will probably start in the cup game if he's fit enough.
Yeah, I think that's where he starts. But Roger, given what we've seen so far, let's say the last 4 or 5 games in total, 5 games in total, maybe.
Then I'm going to go with Gusto starting on the right, and I'm going to probably go with Colwell starting on the left.
Okay, but the chat thinks, it's going to be it's going to be Cucurella.
Yeah, I mean, it could very well be. To be honest with you, it's pure speculation on anyone's part, because this will be the first time that we're getting. I mean, you could see Cucurella start on the right instead of Gusto, because of the fact he switched off. We don't know yet, because Cucurella is far more experienced than Gusto. So it all depends. He's now, I think, going to realize that this is going to be our starting back four.
Roger, an interesting observation. When we as fans are predicting this back four, and we are having these 5-6 different players and different combinations, but we are never in frustration saying like, why is he starting him? Why is he starting him? So
that's pretty logical, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've come so far away that we can change any player there, put any player there, and we are happy with everybody because everybody is performing. So I mean, at least we are out of that phase where we were like always like looking at commenting on the manager with frustration. Why is he starting him? Why is he starting him?
I personally would start Cucurella on the right because he shows more experience right now than Gusto, and because he switched off. And I would start Colwell on the left, and probably Silva and Disasi. I would probably go with that combo. I think I think
Disasi starts tomorrow, but it's so difficult now because Gusto is back.
Coach,
and if we're going to go with the back four,
Coach, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
And James is coming as well. So
No, he's not. He's not fit enough to start though. That's me.
Yeah.
The manager clearly states James was, but I think Jesse is talking about in general players we're going to have back. It's going to be difficult to select the starting lineup. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: tomorrow, Disasi, I think the manager trusts him, and he's been one of our best players aerially. So if the concern is how we deal with aerial ability of Brentford, then he has a place in this team. The question now is, would the manager be comfortable playing him in the right back position and dropping Gusto? I don't think he does that. I think either of these two, I think Silva keeps his place, the leadership there, because the other ones are still, the Sassi comes in. That's what I see. It's difficult to say.
It's pure speculation, by the way.
Yeah, pure speculation. You have to be honest, because there's no you can say we don't have a pattern.
There's no rhyme or reason because this is very small sampling size. Don't think. By the way, just to let you know, Spurs just scored a really jammy own goal. Freaking sickening!
Holy smokes!
What
Sickening.
scored? The Crystal Palace scored an own goal.
Yeah, he was the only one in the 6-yard box, and he puts it in his own bloody net. It's like, really?
You sure he's not into gambling?
I swear. Yeah.
If you go by what you just explained, you can't blame me for thinking that. And here's the thing: I knew if sports score, a lot more people will start joining the panel, joining the chat because they'll get angry.
Just one quick interruption. So Roger, I speculated a few days ago, right? So now, if this game ends with Tottenham winning, so they will be undefeated. So a big script, right? Perfect Hollywood storyline.
Yes.
Going back to Spurs, and hopefully give them their first defeat. So it's amazing, right?
It's a Hollywood script, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. DJ saying here, totally agree with JC. Rhys James, we need to give him more time and bed him in the team slowly to sell him. No, here's the thing. Do I think the club will sell him anytime soon? No, I think they will give him time because of how good of a player he is. Carney's fitness check. No, not ready. So far the setback and still out. The Sassi in for Silva. Do I think that will happen? I'd say no. Honestly, I don't think the manager drops Silva. He's had about 6 days to rest, and he's not traveling for international break. This may well be his last season, but I think we'll milk the life out of him as much as we can get. I get it. It's easy to find the areas where he's faltered, where he's made mistakes leading to us scoring goals. And like you mentioned previously in the chat there, occasions where he's caught, couldn't keep up with the opposition's pace, and we conceded from counterattacks. But he does more. I think what the manager would do, you find a way to conduit, maybe should I say mitigate for curtail his you can say mistakes he will that comes from lack of pace. Then that's where the number 6 comes into play. Or the 8 actually can help. When you have such player, you have to walk around them because you can say he's undroppable. Given his leadership, you could say if he wasn't on the pitch against Arsenal, there's a chance we don't get a point from that game. Because
that's what worries me, Coach.
Yeah,
it's the fact that we're too reliant on his experience.
Yeah,
because of the fact it's not just a young back line, but it's not just a young team, but it's a young squad. It's ridiculously youthful, you know.
Yeah. And we can't really say this is the combination that will work perfectly in his absence, except for the fact we know that the Sassi and Badiashile have both played as centre backs for Monaco together for a while. That's the that's the easiest that comes to mind. But you cannot say without Silva, okay, what will be the pairing there that will work well for us? There's no way to tell. So it's a problem. The Sassi in for Silva. Let's see if that happens. To be honest, I think we are still keeping Rhys James because of marketing. You can say that's part of it too. But more importantly for me, I think mainly because of his playing ability, because he's an excellent player. Just hardly stays fit. I hope that changes, given what JC just explained. We've been rushing him back because of how important he's been for us. Club and country, actually. I think his case doesn't differ that much from that of N'Golo Kante because of how important Kante was at the time for Chelsea and the French national team. The slightest he recovers, Deschamps pulls him back into the fold. Tuchel does the same for N'Golo Kante. Yeah, but let's see what happens. Nkunku to return after November international break. Coach, once he comes over, I don't think he returns after the international break. I don't think so. The fact you're seeing him on training gears and all that, no, that doesn't mean he will come back at that time. I got to take care. All right, bro.
Coach, let me tap in. Pochettino said today in press conference that there is a chance Nkunku returns after the November international break.
Mm-hmm.
He's expecting that, he said.
Yeah.
He used the language there's a chance, and I don't think they will want to risk him, especially if we're doing well.
Well, it's going to take time to bleed him in, isn't it? So,
exactly.
Upon his return, he's not exactly going to play 95 to 100 minutes. They're going to give him the first 2 or 3 games. They'll probably incrementally increase it by 10 minutes, 10, 20, then 30, then the start. I assume so.
And Jesse, that was a VAR check, not really a tap-in. But
this coming from you, Coach.
Yeah, but let me just say, this, Jesse. Jesse, if you're paying attention, another manager could have started Reece James against last game against Arsenal, and he was campaigning. I call it campaign. He was putting pictures on social media saying we're ready and something to that effect. I can't quite recall all the things he said. Manager like Thomas Tuchel could have started him, would have started him, in my opinion. What do you think? My point is this, JC, is the fact that Pochettino, he's not into rushing players back, and I think Jerry, you said that before on the panel here. Doesn't rush players back, honestly. And if we're doing as well as we're doing, I don't see the need to rush Nkunku back. Probably that period where we've heard that he's going to be back to full training, probably get a chance to sit on the bench or play 15 minutes here and there. I think let's see what happens. But again, we have a good squad, and in the absence of some of our the biggest names in our team, we've done well in their absence, in my opinion. But let's see what happens. Anybody else want to talk about that? The possibility of Nkunku playing as soon as possible after the international break.
I would request Bobby's input into this, because I think Bobby would say if Nkunku is fit after the international break, our next game is Newcastle and then I think Manchester United, and these are crunch games.
So, do you think he comes in and plays 90 minutes?
So we are talking about one more. No, not 90 minutes, but and then we also have Carney Chukwuemeka coming back.
When is Carney's return date, by the way? It's not definite, right?
No.
Yeah. So I think going forward from November onwards, I think we have many players coming back, and it will be like who do you start? Everybody's performing.
I think that there's coming back and there's coming back. Fitness and ability to play in the team.
That's a new one, Bobby.
Yeah, they're two different things. Now, these players, yes, they're getting their fitness back, but are they conditioned? And it's the conditioning that prevents further injury. So the process of conditioning will be what drags out their appearance in the first team. So, I mean, after the international break, is Nkunku ready? Well, it depends on his conditioning. If he's conditioned and prepared to perform, then yeah, he will play. Depending on, you see, one thing people are thinking these injured players are just going to slot back in. They're not. If you have anything, if the plight of Badiashile is anything to go by, they will have to bide their time and wait and fight to get back into the team, and rightly so. So I'm not worried about that. I want them back. I want them fit. because the Christmas period, I mean, there was all this talk of us playing on Christmas Eve, and we still have the Carling Cup games, and after that, the FA Cup games, all of which are extremely important to the club. So the more players we have, the returning fit players is not an issue to me. Fit, conditioned, ready to play. Then we'll see what happens about picking the team from there.
And
But not
and
having them at all is the problem.
and also, Bobby, I think it also depends on the type of injury they're coming back from. Like if it's muscular, like a hamstring, for instance, then there
Yeah.
has to be a lot more caution applied.
Well, same as the knee injuries. The
Yeah.
knee joint is an area that is constantly being pounded in motion. So they're all pretty serious. They're serious enough to have kept these guys out for so long.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, my concern is get them fit and conditioned and ready to play before we start worrying about who doesn't play and who's this, that, and the other. That's not a problem we should be looking at. No other
It's a
top
good,
team cares about that.
yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, everybody,
It
if
is.
everybody, yeah,
It
yes.
is absolutely a good thing. Have all of them fit, ready, conditioned to play. I can assure you that's going to take some time. It really is. And thankfully, Pochettino is not going to force anybody back. And neither should he, because look what happens. He did kind of push Reece James a little bit with the Liverpool game. And look, he relapsed. And, I don't think he should do that again.
Bobby, one more question I have then for you. Also, do you think these new owners have a model where they will sell some of these players? Because if for example all these fit players are already back and gelled in, then we also have Lavia, we have Andre Santos, we have the
Cesare Casadei.
Cassade. We have also the lad playing right back in Strasbourg. Angelo Gabriel is playing well there, apparently. Then you
Hmm.
will
Wait,
have
wait, 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 JC, wait. They're right back at Strasbourg?
no, he's not a right wing. I'm sorry, right
Oh,
back.
okay. I was gonna say maybe we signed another player and I didn't know. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. And then we have
Yeah.
also Kendrick Pies, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
Kendrick comes into the team, certainly, in my opinion. But go ahead.
Yeah, so there are so many players, and all of them are young and 7 8 year contracts. So
Yeah.
I mean, okay, if we are in Champions League, we need a big squad, but we definitely need a big squad. But how big? I think if everybody is performing, and that is a good thing we are seeing, that everybody is competing, everybody is improving, the manager is improving them, and there is nobody really left behind to be sold. You also have Matson, who is now, there is rumor that he's talking now for the contract. So
Hmm.
Humphreys is there. Chaloba probably will be sold. So is this model really like we do you see we us selling some of these players in the near
Well,
future?
I think
well,
Matson.
we always. I don't know why we always look at selling even before the issue arises. That is quite amusing to me. Let them all come back. Let them all be fit. Let them all be firing. And two things come to mind. Who is the better of all these players in whatever position they are in? And
I
who
can't
does
believe
the
I'm agreeing with Bobby
and
in this one.
and who does the manager want? These are all factors. And then we start talking of whether we're going to sell or not. Selling is always an option, loaning is always an option. But to be talking of selling before we've actually seen the fruition of all the itinerary of these players available, I think it's a little bit putting the cart before the horse. It's not yet time to worry about that. I want them all back. I want them all fit. I want them all firing. I want the manager to now make the choice.
Yeah.
I'm still yet to see that situation at Chelsea. We have not had that. When we have that, like Man City have had that, and they have seen their luxury of players such that they let us have Cole Palmer. That's an example of when you've got everybody firing and you still let go of a talent because you've got better talent in the opinion of the manager. May not be my opinion, but in his opinion, he didn't need him. So let's get there. And then we can talk of. I know even in January, I mean, yeah, people are talking that Martson is looking to sign a contract. I hope he does because that gives us more selling power, as it were, and it ups his price. So let's wait and see. Honestly, I'm not bothered by this at all. I want to see the best at Chelsea, and so far we've not even had the best to choose from. That's
Yeah,
just my opinion in it.
and
Here's something else I want to add to that. JC, I'm quite sure you know this. I think it's nothing new. We had a lot of players under young players under Roman Abramovich, but
yeah.
I think the difference right now is just that we signed too many at the same time within a very
But
short
this is
span of time.
level up, coach. This is level up. This is not academy. This is
But
like they are playing at
okay,
the
but
senior
here's the thing.
level.
But here's where they resemble or where they are the same. There's no way at the end of the day, the young players were signed. All of them, there's no way all of them will make it into the Chelsea starting 11.
Yeah,
The
but
only go
that's
ahead.
that's maybe we are underestimating the talent of our hospital. Maybe also like that's also. I mean, the attraction
I
of our
mean,
hospital.
we should be happy about that because
Yeah,
honestly, that means we have a financial revenue stream. Because yes, coach is right; they're not all going to make it. If
And
they're
and
all
on that,
good,
Roman, we made
then
a lot from selling players.
selling and loaning and all that. But so if they're all
Yeah.
good, we go to the next level of good, to
yeah,
the excellent ones, and then we sell the good ones. And the
yeah.
good ones will not
I
go
think that's the
cheap.
most delicious way to put it. If they're all good, then who's the best amongst those
Is
good
it?
players?
But that
Yeah.
is exactly what they were bought for. So I'm not worried about this at all. I want it to happen. I want them all to be there, fighting, ready to play. So we really, really take the cream of the crop and the rest we make money out of them. It's as simple as that. It's not something that I'm worried
Mhm.
about at all.
And I think we are just at the start of the journey. Yeah, this is the first step we have
Yep.
taken. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Roger, I'll come to you. Looks like you're not done selecting your like in back four and also the three midfielders there. Spots one up. I think it's two up right now. DJ so lucky spots are deflection goal, but they've scored one more. Oscar, big up to you, Oscar. How are you doing? I want to join a group chat. And we don't have any group chat yet. Yeah, we have the panelist group and we have the members group which differs. But we'll talk more. So lucky Spurs yeah, a deflection go after that. They scored more. Dusan Vlahovic. Rumors are that we're interested in signing him in January. But I don't think that even though I did a YouTube short video on that, I don't think it makes sense. The fact that we refused him at the time where it could have been a straight swap, us getting him and in Lukaku, not a straight swap. Lukaku joining them with a bit with some cash. That didn't happen. Spurs are 2-0 or 2-0 up right now. Scored the penalty on okay, good for you. Palace 0, Spurs 2 in the 70th minute. That's according to Jersey. I agree with Bobby as always. Shocking, really. Matson wanted by Manchester City when he is looking when he's looking, this means he rates a player. When Pep is looking at a particular player, it simply means he rates that player highly. For sure.
So I have to just what space does Man City have for Martin? He's not going there.
Yeah, I don't think they
He
have
will
space for
just
him. Yeah.
no, he'll just go and sit in the stands. So that would be a very
Mhm.
foolish move of him
Ouch.
if it's true. It's true. I
I'm gonna
mean,
start saying that he's gonna go sit in the stands, not even on the bench. Shaw will improve him and make him better than what he is. Well, here's the thing. If the manager feels like he doesn't have a place in this team, I'm not gonna question that. In my opinion, do I think he's a good player? Yeah, I'll take him over Ben Chilwell anytime, any day. Roger, let's hear you. Were you done selecting your lineup, or were you still at it? But we started talking about something else.
I think this is just what I think he's going to do. I think he's going to go with Cucurella on the right, Silva or Disasi, Silva, and then I think Colwell. I think that's what he's going to go with.
That sounds like what's going to happen, honestly. But those in the chat have selected bench Kukurea for left back. So the two centre backs, do you agree? If Kukurea starts in the left back, do you agree would be Colwell and Silva? I think the Sassi has a place in this lineup, in my opinion, even though I didn't select him for mine. Did I select him? I didn't think I selected him. But go ahead, Roger. Your three midfielders.
Yeah, I think they pick themselves. All joking aside, they really do.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only question is who comes on to substitute them? You know, that's the only question. Which ones are getting subbed at like the 80th or 90th minute, so to speak? 70th or 80th.
I'm really not going to bother myself about that one.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. That's
I understand.
Roger, in last few games, have they even been substituted? These midfielders
seldom actually, which kind of worries me because you could tell in that last game this was a very heavy pitch because of the amount of precipitation, and their legs were jelly. You know, perhaps there needs to be more consideration in the midfield being substituted, like bringing on Leslie, etc.
Yeah.
I think from the moment Casado has come in, these three have played every minute. If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, they've been constant, the three of them. Yeah, Roger. Let's hear you the front three. Let's go for it. That's where we have some work there. Jackson probably fully fit now. With the manager didn't say anything with regards to his fitness during his presser. But let's hear you, Roger. Yeah.
I think it's Mudryk.
You think Mudryk starts?
Yeah. I think he's going to try to give him a run of. I'm assuming if everyone's healthy, he's going to give him a run of games. I believe that. I think he's going to try to opt for continuity here. You know, I think Palmer also. Sterling and Palmer. I think that's what it's going to be. I think
Sterling, who's central?
I think Sterling on the right and Palmer in the middle. But I think it's going to be a little bit. Well, it's fluid, isn't it? You can see them quite often. I can see, you know, Sterling playing as a 49 at some occasions, but I think those three are the ones that are going to start. This is the last three starting, correct? This was our starting formation last time.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, Sterling mostly played in the middle, didn't he, really? So it depends, you know. It depends. They're going to rotate a lot. I don't think the actual order or the position is that vital when you consider they're so fluid. It's not stringent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not. It's a fluid approach, so it doesn't. Doesn't matter.
He may go with Jackson to start, but I think I would assume that he wants continuity, and I think Mudryk. I think he's warranted a start.
Even if that, I think if Jackson comes in,
I think it's for Sterling.
Would drop Mudryk.
Yeah, I fear that, but I prefer Sterling to be dropped over Mudryk.
I would also, and do I think I know why you prefer that?
Well, have you seen his dribbling stats? 1 out of 5. 1 out of 6.
I'm not going to talk about that. His dribbling is awful. He dribbles 7 times and not get, and you can say misses, not get any 7 times, but 14 fails. Honestly, but let's say you, Jersey, I don't know. Have you selected your midfield 3 and the attacking 3? Let's say you, Jersey.
Yes. So the midfield: Enzo Fernandez, Moses Caicedo, and Sir Connor John Gallagher. This is the midfield.
You're shocking. You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Sir Connor John Gallagher.
No, I heard you. I was just kidding. That one, like Roger said, that midfield selects itself, in my opinion. Let's say Jersey, the 3 up front. Do you think it'd be the same as Roger's Jersey? Do you think it'd be the same?
Yes, I think it will be the same, and primarily because the way I analyze is because, again, we have to play 3 games from tomorrow with the cup game in the middle and the Spurs games to follow. So we have ample of time to rotate. So I think it will be a front 3, especially because the way we played against Arsenal. So We want to have the continuity. And I see, of course, Modric being subbed in earlier in the second half for Jackson. So yeah, I'll go with the same three up front.
Yeah, I think the
Great
only
minds
way.
think alike.
Go ahead, Roger. What did you say?
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you can say that. Let's hear you, JC,
I'm
the front
joking.
three. Let's hear you.
No, I think based on the form, and I go with the same six. Yes, and I don't think Jackson is fully fit yet. So,
Yeah.
so,
He's
so
wearing a hard cast, isn't he? And
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was the last time. Yeah, still wearing actually. Yeah, I think so. During training, did I see? I didn't look at his wrist. There was a picture of him I saw during the training section pictures. But why didn't I pay attention? But Bobby, let's come to you quickly. But before I did that, no worries, DJ. I understood that was what you meant to say there. The only thing that can be different, in my opinion, he can put the Sassi instead of Colwell. You think he'd do that? You never know, but we'll find out. So yeah, let's hear you, Bobby, your front three before we call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the guys, Roger, everyone else. I think he'll do what he did with Arsenal, Cole Palmer, alternating with Sterling on the right. He likes Sterling, and Modric. He will start him on the left. Now, remember, there are 5 subs, and there will be substitutions. And
Yeah.
I also agree with Roger that if he does drop Modric for Jackson, then. Rather than drop Modric, I would drop Sterling
Yeah.
for Jackson. But that's just me. I don't think he'll do that. He relies, he likes Sterling a lot, unfortunately. And to be fair to Sterling, he hasn't let us down in the past 2, maybe 3 games. So, long may that continue. So I think
Yeah.
that's how he'll go. That's a bit of a handful to deal with. You saw the Arsenal big centre backs, how they struggled with that. And I think anybody will struggle with that because of their movements, especially Cole Palmer. He's quite tricky.
He makes
And
intelligence runs, Bobby. He
he
really does.
does. He does. So, we don't want to do it in every game because of the predictability of it, although it's hard to deal with. People might double up with the DMs and, compact everywhere, which will then spoil it. But I think starting in this game that way, clearly Jackson, he's recovering, and I'm glad he's having a little bit of time on the bench and coming on slowly because these guys, one, they're young, 2, they're getting used to each other, and 3, and perhaps a very big point, is that they're getting used to the Premier League. So whereas Sterling, Cole Palmer, and believe it or not, Modric have more experience of the Premier League than Jackson. So bringing him on to because of his injury, I'm sure he's just a week further down. So, he's getting better. I don't see anything wrong with that. And I think Poch will do that. What I'm more interested in is making sure that we maintain our unpredictability because the Brentford manager, I keep forgetting his name, he's a smart guy.
Thomas Frank.
Yeah, Thomas Frank, he's a smart guy, and he also has 1 week to train and prepare his team. And everybody likes to prepare for Chelsea, but unfortunately for him, this time around, it's a different Chelsea. It's a more motivated player set, and I think he might get a bit of a slap in the face from this team.
And we're unpredictable for many reasons. Mauricio Pochettino likes to use a hybrid approach. You never know what he does in game, also in terms of the structure. Plus, they don't. You could say we're the unknown. The players are pretty much like Bobby explained. They don't know this team that well to be able to say, okay, there's a certain way you prepare and get a result, except for defending deep and trying to hit us on a break. Anybody else on the panel has anything else to add or want us to talk about before we call it a day? Anybody else? I'm waiting for. I started the poll asking the question. Who pairs Silva? 50%. The Sassi, Cowell 50%. I think the Sassi most likely will start. Whether that leads to Cowell playing in the left back position remains to be seen, and that may well happen. But I'd say it would be more effective offensively if Cucurella starts in the left back position. But let's see what the manager does. We don't not to. There's no. You could say I don't know if there's anything like a constant pattern. Let me just say there's no pattern to what he does. How he likes to approach the game yet since he's joined Chelsea.
I've been
Yeah.
trying to avoid this mindset, but
Mhm.
it looks like Pochettino has some undroppables at the moment, and they are Gallagher, Sterling, Colwill, and Silva. At the
Yeah.
moment, they tend to be his favoured starters. So
Enzo,
if
Enzo as well.
Oh,
I
and
think.
Enzo, yeah, that's five of them. So he's beginning
Hmm.
to have, and that is how a stable team is produced. So he's beginning to have his regulars, and then he builds a team around that. So if Cole if Desasi comes on, then you can be sure Cole will go left back, and I don't think he wants to upset Cucurella either. He will shift him to the right and have Gusto and James on the bench. I can really see that, and it makes sense to me. Sorry to cut in.
And it
I
does
also
make sense that you're arguing that he has some undroppables right now, but I think Palmer has joined that list.
yeah, that's a good shout.
Given,
Yeah, that
Um,
is a good shout.
given the players we have right now, he's the most creative, in my opinion, also the most intelligent.
Yeah.
So
So
I
I,
think he's joined that list.
he's forming his stable team, and anybody else, whether you're coming back from injury or whatever, you're gonna have to fight to get in that team, and that's a good thing, because if you're an attacker, you got to come in and score some serious goals for you to displace some of those players there. So that can only be a good thing. So I'm all for it, really.
do you
Jesse,
know
let's
what?
hear you. Your undroppables. Well, I can't say that
No,
word.
like my prediction for Pochettino is undroppable is same as. But to be honest, for me, like with the current form, only I would say is like Palmer is undroppable. For all the rest, I think you can change the. It's very difficult decision. I mean, you can make an argument for any player at any given time, but if there is one player, I won't definitely not be happy to see on bench. That's Palmer. Only Palmer for me personally. Only Palmer.
Hmm. I think Palmer, for me, he's an excellent player. What a signing. Yeah, our own Kevin De Bruyne, like a lot of people have said. Jesse, you have anything else to add before I go to Jerry? Roger was trying to say
Just
something. Yeah,
just
then I'll
one
go to, yeah.
argument on this factor, which I don't think is a factor. But guys, do you think like Poch will have one eye on the Blackburn game, and he might give some rest minutes and like divide his lineup, like some for the next game, some for this game? If that affects, then might be a factor, but that we have not taken into account. And I think these managers, they tend to be like take one game at a time, so that's the best approach. And based on that, I think this is the predicted lineup we have. But otherwise, just a factor like Blackburn game can be a factor.
It can be. He can be a factor. If it feels like we can do with any player here, and because he intends to play the same player against Blackburn, he may well decide not to play that player here.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So yeah, I think you're very correct. He'd have one eye on that particular game on this one. For me, from the perspective of what players get to play on that day and what players get to play today, I think he'd probably play the strongest 11 on this one and then mix things up against most certainly mix things up against Blackburn. We'll see the likes of Ugochukwu, we'll see Ian Matson, but we'll find out what he does. The only thing that can be different, in my opinion, I think we've read that one too. Big up to you too, Michiboy. I appreciate you joining. Likeness is greatness. If you're watching, if you haven't, please take a second, go check out Michiboy's YouTube channel and subscribe. Anything else, Jerry? Have anything? Roger, were you saying something before I go to Jerry to round up for us?
I wanted to say basically, I think the people that are undroppable would be Silva. I think Enzo and Palmer currently. Those are the three main ones, I believe. Yeah, you can say Sterling is part of the equation to a certain extent, and he also Caicedo, but Gallagher too. I mean, you could argue that he's one of the first people on the team sheet.
I think certainly. That's because he's very unique.
Yeah, he offers a lot. of
Yeah, he offers
flexibility.
something that I haven't seen. No, for me, and it's the only player closest to Gallagher in terms of what he offers will be Cucurella. You can say you can say I wouldn't say unorthodox in his approach, but go ahead, Roger. Sorry.
No, no, Bobby's right. This team is slowly but surely getting built with continuity in mind. However, I think one person that I think he will definitely be a constant starter, would be Nkunku. I think he was building the team around him, until the final game, obviously. So of the preseason, so I think he's going to be an integral part of this team. We would have to seriously step it up a notch for the current players to make sure that he is not a continuous starter. So I think Nkunku is definitely going to be, the way he was playing, he looked integral for Chelsea. I think he synced up with people. His play was excellent. I think he's going to be the teacher's pet also, in a good way, not a sarcastic way.
And Roger, then whose expense would be Nkunku as a foundation? Mudrik or Jackson?
I say Sterling.
That's not happening. We both know that. However, we like that.
Hey, one never knows. Miracles. No, but that's a good question.
He has been playing well as well. So fair play to him. I mean, he was tracking back as well. So he contributed also defensively. So can't blame
I think Mudrik has to step it up a notch for him to be nailing down a position. He has yet to do so, but let's hope that can happen. I would see his tenure as being the most tenuous, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Jerry, do you have anything else you want to add, or should we just call it a day? I think it's been an excellent discussion, in my opinion. We will continue to experiment. Oh, Jerry still haven't said anything. Sorry. We will continue to experiment with the timing of the show to see what time will accommodate more people even more. Jerry, go ahead. You round off the show for us. Anything else you want to say? Then you can
get used to that, Jerry. He does it all the time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, an excellent show, and thank you to all the panel and all the people tuning in. And let's hope we'll have a comfortable victory tomorrow. So just to add to the question or what we were discussing right now, based on performance, I would say, not based on what it will be because of the price tag or what the situation will move on in the future. Right now, based on performance, the three undroppables would be Palmer, Gallagher, and Silva for me, based on current performance. And of course, Enzo, Caicedo, they are, I think, underperforming right now. Caicedo is playing good, and Enzo is particularly underperforming given what their potential is. Of course, there'll be regulars, but I just talked based on the performance.
Sure.
And as far as the question that Roger raised, I think JC raised about Nkunku, I forgot. So anyhow, we were talking about Nkunku when he'll come back, and my prediction or prophecy is that we'll go back to a 4-2-3-1 at that time to accommodate, because we have ample of great players at that position. So we will have to make a lot of sacrifices. So I could be wrong, but my prediction is that we'll go back to a 4-2-3-1. And thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy yourself, and let's hope for a very dominating and comfortable win tomorrow.
Cheers, guys. God bless us all. Thank you, Jerry, for that. And to everyone in the chat, big up to all of you. I can't go through saying the name one by one, but I appreciate you all. Jerry, Bobby, JC, and Raja Daja. And I appreciate you all. Realistic Raja, let me say that one too. I see you guys during the Blue Morning Show, because the game starts at 4. I think, what's the time again? Let me look at it. The game tomorrow will start at, let me go through. I think 4:30 a.m. my time. So we'll start the Blue Morning Show, then go into the pre-game show, and then once we're done with the pre-game show, then there's a chance we'll do a watch along on the other channel, because that's the way we keep the other channel growing too. So thank you, everyone. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Good night, chaps.